Okay, question number 1. The demand and supply of product X are given as QD equals 60 minus 4 PX. X mean we are going to represent the X commodity. That is why it's include X. And QS, it means quantity of supply minus 20 plus 6P X. Find the equilibrium price and quantity. Question number 1. And second one is explain the market outcome when price of input increases, price of subsidy increases using a graph. Okay. The third one, we will discuss third one and other things after clarifying the first one. Okay. First of all, we have to consider about the demand equation and supply equation. By using that, we can calculate the equilibrium price and quantity. It is easy to represent that equilibrium in a graph because it is very easy to identify all those activities after that one. Then first of all, whether they are going to request that represent in a graph or not, we are going to do that because if there is any kind of errors related to the calculation, you can identify it very easy by using a graph. That is why I'm going to use that one. Okay, right. And here we are going to calculate that one. If you can do with me, it will be easy to you. If there is any kind of problems, you can ask. Right? Okay. Then let's start the first one. First one is we are going to calculate the equilibrium position. Okay. So equilibrium means when the equilibrium is there, quantity demand must equal to quantity supply. Yes. So then 60 minus 4 P must be equal to minus 20 plus 6P. Right. Okay, then I'm going to change the direction of the minus 20. It becomes plus 20. That means 60 plus 20 must be equal to 6P is there. I'm going to change that direction, minus 4P. It becomes plus 4P. Yeah. So that's the theory. And this can be 10P. It is 80. Both sides I'm going to divide it by using 10. So then P equal to 8. That means exchange price is 8. Okay, right. By using this exchange price, I mean market equilibrium price, I'm going to use the quantity. Exchange quantity, I mean equilibrium quantity. I'm going to use that price into the equation of demand. Okay, QD equal 60 minus 4P. Okay, 60 minus 4P. Then I'm going to add that value. That value means price. Okay, QD equal 60 minus 4 multiplied by price. Price is just 8. Then 8 multiplied by 4. It becomes 32. Okay. Yes. QD equal 60 minus 32. Then it become 28. 28. So then equilibrium quantity is just 28. Price is just 8. Okay. Now already finished the problem number 1. I mean part of the question number 1. Find the equilibrium price is just P equal 8. Q equal 28. Okay, right. Now I'm going to use that information to derive the graph for that purposes. Okay. Can I change this page? Right. Change that. Okay, right. QD equal 60 minus 4px. QS equal minus 20 plus 6
6p.
EX. Yes. So first of all, forget the equilibrium level. Okay. Then just derive the curve for the demand equation and demand supply equations. Always horizontal axis represent the quantity and vertical axis always represent the price axis. Yes. Yes. That one. Okay. And then already we know that if equation is there, we can identify the crossing point of the QD and prices. Just assume that if P equal to 0, what will happen to the value of QD? Just assume P is 0, 0 multiplied by 4, it becomes 0, QD becomes 60.
60.
Yes. And again, you are going to assume that QD equal to 0. So QD equal to 0 means 0 equal to 60 minus 4P. Yes, that means we are going to change the direction of minus 4 into the next side. So it becomes plus 4. So then 60 divided by 4, it becomes 50. Yeah. Then it becomes 50. Okay. Right. Those are the crossing points. So I'm going to represent in a graph. Something like that one. Okay. Is right in here. When the price equal to 0, when the price equal to 0, quantity demand become 60. Price 0, quantity demand become 60. This 60. Quantity demand 0, price become 50. Quantity demand 0, price become 50. Something like that one. Okay. Don't worry about the exact measurements. Don't worry about that one. We are going to do the same thing. And we are going to cover up this one. So this will represent the quantity of demand equation. Quantity of demand. Okay. On the other hand, I'm going to use that methodology to identify the crossing points for the supply curves. And P is there, Q, S is there. Okay. I'm going to find out the values for that one. Right. I'm going to assume that P equal to 0.
Minus 20.
Yeah, it must be minus 20. Okay. And sorry, this is QS. Okay. QS equal to 0. 0 equal to minus 20 plus 6P. So then I'm going to change the minus 20, the direction, it become plus 20. So then 20 equal 6P. That means 20 must be divided by 6. It become 3.33. Yes, that's the value. Right. Okay. Right. First of all, I'm going to derive that one. P equal to 0, QS become minus 20. P, this one, equal to 0, it become minus. Minus value is there in the left hand. So then the 20, minus 20 is there. And when the QS equal to 0, price become 3.3. Q 3.3, something like that. Okay. 3.3, something like that. Right. What's that one? Right. This is QS. And the crossing point QD curve and QS curve, it become equilibrium position. We are going to represent by using E. This is equilibrium point. And equilibrium position. Equilibrium position. Yeah. To derive that one. Already we calculated the equilibrium. It has, I think, 8 rupees, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, 8.
And quantity is 28, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, 28. Right. This is the equilibrium position. But in the question, they are not asking the Equilibrium position represented by using a graph. But we are going to do that one because if we have done any kind of errors related to the calculation, you can easily identify that errors. That is why I'm going to do that. So do this in your question paper also as a practice. So then it is very easy to identify. If you are going to do something wrong related to the first calculation, other things also will be errors. That is why it is very important. Okay. Right. Now we can move to the next questions. Next question asks, can you see my
No, sir.
no. Okay. I think you have exam paper, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then okay. Explain the market outcome when. Market outcome when. Two option is there. First option is price of input increases. Price of input increases. Second option is price of substitutes increases. Price of substitute increases. Two type of option is there. But in that kind of position, you have to identify if those things are going to be changed in here. If those things are going to be changed in here, things can be changed. Things can be changed. Okay, things can be changed, especially related to the commodity market. Okay, then you have to identify what will happen. Actually, what will happen after this kind of position. Okay, first of all, we have to identify the effect of that particular activity. First one is price of input increases. So what do you mean by the input? Inputs are the raw material or resources or different type of materials which we are going to produce goods and services. You are going to use all those material as an input for the production process. It can be become land, otherwise it can be a labor inputs or something like that, price of the capital, anything can be had. Okay, materials. Okay, so then the price of the input is increased. Price of input going to be increased. Price increasement. So then what happened to the total cost? Oh, cost of the production.
Increase.
Or it also increased. Cost of the production. Cost of the production also going to be increased at that point. So now you can identify if any kind of cost increasement for the particular commodity, especially it affect to change the supply curve. Yes, it affect to change the supply curve. It affect to change the supply curve. So first of all, we have to identify, is that favorable situation or unfavorable situation for the producer?
Favorable.
In increasement of cost? No, it is
No. Yes.
It becomes disadvantageous for the producer. Why? Increasement of the production cost, increase the total operation cost, total expenditure of the production process will be increased. Then automatically the profitability level, the profit margin of the company will be reduced. That is why it's not a good situation for the producer. So then you identify it is not favorable. It creates disadvantages for the supply. Yes. You have to think like that one, okay? This is the methodology. Still, I am going to create the answer. Okay, this is the thinking method pattern. This is the thinking pattern.
So if the price of the good increases, it's a good thing for the supplier, right?
Actually.
Okay, cost
they can
is
earn they can earn money.
Yes. Okay.
But increasing cost is
Yes. Okay.
opposite side of the situations. Okay, right. And then disadvantages arise. So then what will happen to the supplier? No matter, no doubt about that one. Supplier discouraged. Yes.
Yes.
The opposite side of the encouragement. It's going to be discouraged. So then what happened to the quantity of the supply? QS. Definitely it must be reduced.
Reduce.
Definitely it must be reduced. So then again another problem is here. Another problem. So what is? Because of that kind of situation, whether supply curve change or supply curve going to be shift or shifting left side or back, upside or downside or any other happens, any other things will be happen. That is, we have to clarify that one. First of all, we have to clarify. Definitely, because of the increasement of the input, supplier will discourage. Quantity of supply also reduce. No doubt about that one. Quantity supply curve, QS curve, shift to backward, shift to upward. It helped to increase the price of the commodity. And the exchange quantity also can be reduced. As example, just consider this is equilibrium situation. We already calculated QS and QD. Already calculated it as 8 rupees and 28. Yes. After increasement of the cost of the production, input, the supply curve shift to that area. Price increasement must be there. Price increase to any kind of amount. We don't have any idea about that one. And quantity of exchange also reduced. Exchanging quantity reduced, but the price of the commodity increased. Because of the discouragement of the producer, he already reduced the production quantity. So then availability of the commodity in the market can be reduced. If the availability of the commodity reduce, what will happen to the price of the commodity? Definitely it must be increased. That is what happens in any kind of economy. So we call it, this is QS2 after price increasement of input. Supply curve, QS curve, shift upward. Increase in price increasement. Price increasement is there and reduction in the quantity is there. That is enough. Do not try to explain many things. Just copy that graph and write down in here. Because of the price increasement of input, supply curve shift upward. As a result of that one, price will increase, equilibrium price increase, equilibrium quantity will reduce. That is enough. Right. Are you okay?
Yes.
Then let's move to the next option. Okay. Price of substitutes increases. Price of substitute. Price of substitute mean other commodities. Other commodities. Other commodities which you can use or consume for the particular commodity. The particular commodity is X. So then other commodity must be just considered as a Y. The usage of the X commodity, I mean utilization of satisfaction of the X commodity, okay, it is similar to the utilization of Y commodity. That is why we can substitute each other. Okay, so then this is related to the cross elasticity. You can remember that one, cross elasticity. In cross elasticity, two types of things can be happen. First one is substitutes. Second one is complementary. Substitutes mean, just consider as example, I will explain that one before write down the answer. Okay. Writing down the answer for the question is very easy. Okay. But you must have good identification related to that one. How you can develop something like that answer. That's the main thing. Okay. Substitutes. As an example, just consider jam. Any kind of jam, okay? Maybe pineapple or wood apple, any kind of jams. And one person use jam for butter or margarine or something like that. Okay. To consume the breads. To consume the breads. Okay. So then the combination between bread and jams become complementary. The combination between jam and butter become substitutes. Because if there is no any kind of jam in here, you can use butter for the jam. If there is no butter, you can use jam for the butter. So that is the meaning of substitutes. Yes, we know that the taste of the jams can be different from the butter taste. The satisfaction of the jams can be different from the butter. Yes, we know that one. But you can use it. That is why we call it substitutes. As an example, just consider the price of the one bottle of jam. It is 900 rupees. The price of the one pack of the butter also similar weight, price is similar. So those commodities become near substitute commodities because there's no change in the prices. But suddenly, the price of the jam, one pack, it changed to 1,300 rupees. Price increasement is there. So then what happened? The people who consume the jam, they are going to shift to the butter. Why? The price of the certain commodities is very high compared to the substitute commodity. So then, willingly or unwillingly, they have to shift from jam to butter to consume the breads. So then, what happens to the demand of the commodity? Demand can be reduced because there is a substitutes. Okay, so that's a combination between certain commodity and substitutes. But in here, in our questions, they say that price of substitutes increases. That means, so just consider our commodity is jam. I mean certain commodity X. Substitute commodity, I mean Y is butter. In that certain incidents, the price of the butter is increased. Same prices was there. Okay, same prices was there. Suddenly, price of the butter increases. into 100, 1,500. Okay. So then what happened to the demand of the commodity? Certain
It
commodity
increases.
increase. Because when you are going to compare the price of the butter and jam, reasonably, you will identify consuming jams will be cheaper than the butter. So then the consumer who already consume butter, they will shift to the jam side. That's the meaning of increasement of the. So now you identify the effect of that scenario. Price of the substitute increases, then certain commodity quantity demand increases. Quantity demand increases. It is not a change of the price. It's for other factor changes. So then what happened to the demand curve? It must shift. It's going to be shift. As example, the certain QD and certain QS, 8 rupees and 28. Suddenly QD can be increase. QD can be increases. Something like that. Sorry. Sorry.
So the price is the same, right?
Wait 1 minute. We change everything. Sorry. And take that one. Econometrics. Advanced economics. Yes, this one. Okay. Right. Wait 1 minute. Right. There's error of this particular application. Sorry. Right. This is the early equilibrium position. Suddenly increasement of the substitutes. It changed the particular commodity quantity demand. Definitely quantity demand, quantity demand increases. That means curve shift to upward. Curve shift to
So
upward.
the price
Price
out
going
of
to increase. Price going to be certainly price going to be increase. Yes. If the demand for the certain commodity increase, what happened to the price?
increases.
Definitely it must go to the increase.
Mm.
Yes. So if you can identify during the time period of festival, some commodity prices are increases. So as an example, just consider about the December time period for the festival time period.
Yes.
What happened to the prices of the meals?
Yeah, they increase.
It recorded high level.
Yes.
After a few days, it dropped down.
Yes.
That is, they are taking the advantages of the time period. That's what happened in Sri Lanka.
Mm.
Because there is no rule and regulation for that one. That is what happening. But if you are going to discuss about other countries, especially in Western European countries, there's no changes during the time period. It is reasonably stable time period. That is why they are controlling the inflation also. But in here, there's no prices. What they think, what they decide, this is the price they are going to sell it. No control system. Actually, no control system. Actually, whether we don't have any idea how they are going to decide the price of the certain commodity. Do you have any idea?
No.
No, we don't have any idea. What is the behind what is the reasonable activity or what is the reason behind the price increase? No idea. Actually, there is no idea. But sometimes we can identify as example, just consider about the fishery industry. That's reasonable time period, the price of the fisheries going to be increased because of the time period. Harvesting time period and non-harvesting time period must be there. According to that one, availability can be changed. So then price can be increased. It is reasonable. Okay, but just consider about the price of the chickens. how it changed according to the time period. It cannot be changed, actually. Okay, right. Then demand curve shift to upward. And price increase and quantity demand also increase. Okay, just copy that one. Right, okay. Then let's move to the next one. Next question. Suppose that the number of sellers increases, and supply changes by 5. Find the new equilibrium prices and quantity. So you already identified the market structure. In the lesson of market structure, you identify 4 major type of market structures. You can identify perfect competitive market structure, monopoly market structure, monopolistic competition market structure, and oligopoly market structure. Okay. In here, you have to identify according to change in the number of firms in the any kind of industry, it already changed the quantity of supply. Okay. Now you have to, it is very unique questions. Okay, I have never seen something like that in this level. Okay, you have to identify those things. Then you can derive the proper answer for that one. Okay, you can identify this is the QS equation. QS equal A plus BP. Okay, you have to identify those. How I am going to change the equations related to that scenario. That is what I am going to explain here. In QS equal A plus BP. This is the QS equation. But already we have given that one. QS equal minus 20, isn't it?
Yes.
20 plus 6P, I think.
6P.
Yeah, okay. Already given. In here, A represent when the price of the certain commodity becomes 0, what is the amount of the supply? It is minus 20. That's happening. Okay. So then according to change in the price, if there any change in the price, how much change the quantity of supply? It represented by the B, I mean slope of the curve. Okay. So then industry will created by using different firms. Collection of the firms create the industry. If we are going to discuss about the market equilibrium, if we are going to discuss about the market, this is very important, okay? If we are going to discuss about market equilibrium, market word, the word of the market represent the collection of the all supplier, similar produce, homogeneous producers. As example, in ice cream industry in Sri Lanka, Kotmale, Elephant House, something different type of firms must be there. Today supply, sorry, the month of 2025, up April month, supply is 50,000 liters. Just assume, okay, 50,000 liters. That's the meaning of market supply. This is QS. In here, we are not going to represent the one firm's supply amount. We are going to say that market supply is represent the collection of all firms supply. Collection of all firms supply. In here, we are going to represent QS related to the all firms operate under this certain industry. Okay. Now you can identify in that scenario, additional firms came to here. Additional firms came to here. Then what will happen to the supply amount? It must
increase.
Yes, it must increase. Increase. Yes, it must be increased. Then now you can identify whether A going to be changed or B going to be changed. Which one going to be changed? Definitely it must be A. Not about the B. B is the representing value. According to change in the price, quantity change. It is not going to be changed. It is similar to each and every firms operate under this particular industry, but A can be changed. In that particular questions, they say that suppose the number of seller increases, and supply changes by 5. By 5 mean plus 5, not minus 5. It given plus 5. Find the equilibrium. It changed by the 5. 5 mean it is 5 plus 5. If it is minus, it will given. It will be given. So then QS equal minus 20 plus 6P. So 6P.
Yes.
This is the equation. Earlier it was same. But after involving another companies, another firms to the particular industry, so then we have to analyze that one, because another supply is there by 5 amount. So plus 5, we are going to convert with that one. Okay, QS become now minus 15 plus 6P. So this is the new equilibrium. Sorry, this is the new quantity supply equation. Now another thing is there. Now you have to compare. Now we have to calculate the new equilibrium positions by using new quantity supply equations. Okay. So earlier it was QD equal 60 minus 4P, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
60 minus 4P. And QS now, new QS is minus 15 plus 60, 6P.
6P.
6P. Yeah. So then now we have to calculate the equilibrium position in here.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you got the rationale behind the change of the QS curve, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, right. 60 minus 4P, QS equal minus 15 plus 6P. Yeah. And 60 minus 4 P must be equal to minus 15 plus 6P. Yes. Then 60 plus 15 must be equal to 60 plus 6 plus 4P. Yeah, it's 10P and become 75 must be equal to. Then what happened to the, you have to divide all those things by 7.5. It is the prices, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So then price equal to 7.5. I'm going to use that, and to the QD curve 60 minus 4P. Yeah. QD equals 60 minus 4 multiplied by 7.5. Right. 4 multiplied by 7.5. 30. So then QD equals 60 minus 30. QD equals 30. Are you okay with that one?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then what happened? Price reduce.
Yes.
Okay. Quantity demand increases.
Yes.
Yes. That's what happened. Now it is very easy to identify. Okay. They're asking
So
new. Yes.
they are asking about the new equilibrium price and the quantity, no, sir. So
Yes.
after finding those two, do we have to say that it has reduced and increased more than
Yes.
the
You have to
given?
indicate that one. You have to indicate that one. After calculation, you have to indicate that price reduction. Yes. Price reduce and quantity demand or exchange quantity is increases. That is enough. You have to indicate that one after calculation. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Let's move to the next one. I mean, fourth one. Suppose that the government introduce a legal price. We have to go to the first one because it is very easy to calculate all those activities by using that graph. It's very easy to do that. I already calculated that one. This one, isn't it? Yeah, this one. Yes. I will clear those part. Okay. Right. Let's move to the next one. Suppose the government introduce a legal price. Legal price. That means legal price means it can be maximum price ceiling or minimum price, something like that. Okay, legal price. That means this is the price. You can exchange the goods and services in this particular market. It's a legal activity. You cannot sell quantity, you cannot supply quantity more than this fixed price or less than this price. This is legal price. That meaning of legal price. What will happen to the economic consequences of these decisions? Economic consequences you have to represent. After that kind of decision, what will happen to the market? Whether quantity demand could increase, whether supply quantity decrease or increase, whether it arise shortage or excess situations or black market prices or something like that one. You have to identify that. That is what happening. Okay. But the problem is the equilibrium position already changed. Already changed because of the new institutes or new firms came to the equilibrium. So then this is not the equilibrium now, isn't it?
Yes.
Actually, they are not going to give some tips, clear tips for which one is the which one is the equilibrium, which one is the next one, which one is the next one. It's not given.
Yes, sir. So we have to answer this question according to the new price or the earlier price?
Yeah, Mr. Yes, a question related to
Yeah.
that. Actually, if there's a connection between question number one, they have to say that. Just suppose previous situations and government introduced legal price. If that is okay, if there is something like that one, they have written, we have to accept this one, early situation. But there's no something like that one in here. Then we have to calculate this one. I think they're expecting something like that one, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. Government suppose that one. Okay, anything. So let's go to the first steps. First one, I mean, when the price equal to, I mean, price equal to 8 rupees. Yes. Early situation. Early situation. This one. Early situation.
Yes.
Right.
The legal process.
Yes. This is the early situation. Let's move to that one. Suppose the government introduced legal price and 6 rupees. What will be the economic constitution? Okay, let's move that one. And first of all, we are going to write. We are going to draw the line for the 6 rupees. We are going to draw the line for the 6 rupees. Draw the line for the 6 rupees. Something like that one. Yes. This is the legal price. Actually, it is maximum price. Maximum price ceiling. And just legal prices is 6 rupees. Now we have to calculate the quantity demand after legal prices, quantity supply after legal prices. Yeah. Both. How you can calculate that one? Quantity demand after legal prices, quantity supply after legal prices. No need to worry. Just take the old QD equations. 60 minus 4 fee. For the price, you can add 6 rupees. QD equals 60 minus 4 multiplied by 6. Okay. So then you can calculate 4 multiplied by 6, 24.
Yes.
QD equal 60 minus 24. Okay, then it becomes 36. So then this is the quantity demand after reduction of legal prices. After imposing legal prices, what happened? Quantity demand increases. Yes, that's the normal situation. When the price of the certain commodity reduces, what will happen to the quantity demand? It must be increased. Yes. So then now we are going to calculate the QS. QS equal minus 20 plus 6P. Yes. So then QS equal, we are going to take the first step, okay? I'm not going to discuss about the second step. If it is clearly say that you have to suppose this one, then you can calculate. If there is no any clear evidence, then take the first steps. That is okay, right? Minus 20 plus 6 multiplied by 6. Yes. QS equal minus 20 plus 36. Okay. And 36 minus 20. It is 60. So then what happened to the quantity supply? It reduced. Just that is actual normal situation. When the price reduce, quantity supply reduce. That economic consequences related to that position is quantity demand increased to 36. Quantity supply decreased to 60. Now you can identify when consumer requesting 36 commodities, when consumers expecting 36 commodities, but entire market supply only 16 commodities. The difference between those two, it is 20. 20 means that's the shortage. Shortage. That means the supply amount, entire supply amount of the market is not enough to fulfill the expected demand quantity.
It's a excess demand, is that?
Yeah, excess demand. This represents excess demand. Excess demand always represents the shortage. Shortage means there's no enough supply to
Yes.
cover the entire demand of the market. The shortage is there. So now, if there is shortage, no need to worry, no need to discuss. Definitely, black market price must be there. Yes. So how you can identify that? Whatever it happened, you got only 16 commodity to sell. Now, this is the point where black market price is there. This is the black market. So we have to calculate it. How we can calculate it? Just take the QD equation. QD equal, because this is QD. Because this is QD equation curve. So then that is what cross in here because of the quantity 60. So QD equal 60 minus 4p. So then QD, it is quantity 60. 60 minus 4p. So then we are going to convert that 4p into this one. It becomes plus 4p and 60 minus 60. Okay, 60 minus 16. 60 minus 16, it is 44. So it becomes 44. I think you can clear it. 4 equal 44 divided by 4. So then price equal to 11. 11 is the black market price. This is black market price. So next economic consequences, because of that shortage, in economics, in this market, will arise black market prices. It is 11. You have to say all those economic consequences. What will happen? First one is quantity demand increases. First consequences is quantity demand increases to 36 from 28. Second consequences is quantity supply reduced because of legal prices from 28 to 60. Because of that situation, excess demand is there. Excess demand always derive the shortage of the commodity. It is the shortage amount is 20. Because of that shortage amount, black market price arise. The black market price is 11. Those are the consequences of the economy. Okay, first of all, just calculate all those things. I will say the one by one consequences, then you can write down. First of all, this copy the calculation. After that, I will say the one by one consequences. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Then first consequences. Increase the quantity of demand. Increase the quantity of demand. From 28 to 36. From 28 to 36. Okay. Right. Next one. Next one. Reduce the supply amount. Reduce the supply amount. Reduce the supply amount. From 28 to 16. From 28 to 16. Right. Next one. Excess demand arise. Excess demand arise. Excess demand arise. Because of excess demand, commodity shortage, commodity shortage, commodity shortage, commodity shortage, reported as 20 commodities, as 20 commodities. Right. Next one. Because of shortage, the value of the commodity, the value of the commodity, the value of the commodity increased. The value of the commodity increased. It helped to create black market price. Black market price is 11. Black market price is 11. Right. Those are the economic consequences you can identify after enforcing legal price by the government. Right. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. I mean, question number 5th one, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
If the government impose 2 rupees tax on each unit of sold, so then you have to take first step. Okay. I mean, QD equals 60 minus 4 fee and QS equal 20 minus 20 plus 4 fee. Okay. Tax on each units. So, I mean, unit tax it is. And second one is 2 subsidy on each unit produced. So you have to separately calculate all those things. Separately, you have to calculate all those things and find even market equilibrium condition in each situations. All steps consider the initial demand. Yeah, it is written in here. You didn't recognize it. First of all. For all steps, consider the initial demand, supply, and equation. Okay, just now I saw it. Sorry, I didn't see that one. Right. Okay, now let's move to the next first question. I mean, part number A, part A, and let's go to the part B. Right. They're asking to calculate the tax. Okay, I will do that one. Excesses. Right. In here, QD equal 60 minus 4 fee QS equal minus 20 plus 6P. Yes. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tax is
Two.
just 2 rupees, isn't it? Yeah. Unit tax, unit tax, unit tax. Tax on the quantity. We call it unit tax. It is not a value added taxes. Okay. So then we have to match the unit tax with the supply equations. Then supply equation can be changed. So first of all, we have to identify the supply equation after imposing a taxes by the government. Okay. QS minus 20 plus 6 within brackets P minus tax. P minus taxes. Okay. Then QS equal minus 20 plus 6 P minus tax. Tax means just 2 rupees. QS equal minus 20 plus. So now I'm going to multiply the entire equation by using 6 to change the equations. 6P minus 2 plus multiplied by 6, it is minus 12. Yes, minus 12. QS equal. So then I'm going to so minus 20 is there, minus minus 32 plus 6P. Yeah, a value change. So now new QS equation is there. Then you have to equalize this old demand equation into the new supply equations. That means 60 minus 4P must be equal to minus 32 plus 6P. Yeah, that's a good theory. So now 60 plus 32 equal 6P plus 4P. 10P equal 92. Yes, 92. So then both sides divided by the 10. It is P equal 9.2, isn't it?
Yes.
Already price increase from 8 to 9.2. Okay. Now I am going to calculate the quantity, equilibrium quantity. When the P equal to 9.2, you have to use that value to add that QD equation, 60 minus 4P. That means 60 minus 4 multiplied by P. P is 9.2. So 60 minus 4 multiplied by 9.2. Okay, it is 36.8. Okay, right. 60 minus 36.8. It's already 23.2. This is the Q for equilibrium quantity. What happened to the equilibrium quantity? It reduced because of the tax. Okay, right. A part is done. Right? Okay, let's move to the next one. They're asking, yeah, 2 subsidy on each unit produce. Okay. So then already we calculate that the taxes. Okay. So then now it happened. It is going to be changed because of the subsidy, 2 units. Subsidy is already effect to the QS equations. So now this time period also QS must be changed. Right. Let's go to that one. QD, sorry. QD equal 60 minus OP. QS equal minus 20 plus 6P. But in here, because of the two substitute, it effective quantity of supply minus 20 plus 6P plus sub. So then QS equal minus 20 plus 6P plus substitute value is just 2 rupees. QS equal minus 20 plus, I'm going to multiply the entire within brackets part by the 6 P, and it is become 12 plus 12. So then QS equal, so then we have to clarify that one. This is minus 20, this is minus plus 12. It is just only 8 minus 8. 6P. So already we created new supply equations. Now I am going to calculate the equilibrium. 60 minus 4P equal minus 8 plus 6P. 60 plus 8 equal 6P plus 4P. Right. 10P. It is 68 divided by each part by the 10. So price become 6.8. So then P equal to 6.8. I'm going to substitute that value for the QD equation. 64P. So then QD equals 60 minus 4 multiplied by 6.8. 4 multiplied by 6.8. 60 minus 27.2. So then 60 minus 27.2 is 32.8. Yes. That's good. Are you okay with that values?
Yes.
Okay. First one is okay. Questions. Okay. Then theory will be another things, but the calculation is practical. Become practical asset. So then that means you may have good identification related to the theoretical background and also the practical background related to the economic consequences. Okay. So then you
So
can.
could you excuse me for a second, sir?
Yes.